artist from Phoenix, Arizona. They have worked for various nonprofits across the valley, teaching students to find their power and healing through writing. Through their freelance work, they help students and teachers create a baseline for normalizing self-care. This is also one of my dearest friends who I met when they were babies, so I'm so proud to introduce them.
How y'all doing tonight? Can y'all hear me? Yeah. These pieces have no titles, and also a trigger warning for graphic language and imagery. Every time I look at you, I see the past, an old face of myself, a lost ship sinking in a whirlpool so it never goes quite under, just spinning in circles until nothing makes sense anymore. I am damned, and amongst all things I am doomed, living in my best nightmares, stringing myself along in discomfort, bending over backwards, exposing myself, asking only that you start off gently when you fuck away my senses so that I don't have to be a part of this world that does nothing but tear me apart, rip my flesh off my bones every time, sacrifice this body, like an offering up to the gods unholy. I am a blasphemous banshee, shrieking curses as I was taught to, flowing endlessly down rivers made of tar, and I am tar, black as black can be, bitter as bitter can come, the spoiled apple off the family tree. I taste death on you. It sickles down my tongue like blood trickles slowly from the body. Death tastes sweet. Like caramel apples at the fairgrounds in October when summer is starting to pick up and leave for the season, and I am infatuated with sugar. Fold around me like hands fold around each other in Sunday church when they are pleading for wishes that won't come true. I am a wasteland, full of old broken things that nobody cares about anymore. I've been every man's trash, my pussy a dumpster, and I am lesser in beauty. I smell fear on you, my friend. Fear to dig your claws deep into me, terrified of what spoiled juices may leak out from this flesh. And it is okay, darling. I understand. I'm terrified of you. A few weeks ago, I went home. I don't come from this desert. Wasn't born of this soil. My roots, they be wet. They be frozen. They be open plains of green, trees that look down upon you, sprout up crookedly towards the sky, lining the path as it wraps round and round. My roots be rugged mountains, until you hit the waters, the tiny rivers, the great lake. My roots be hydrated, moist with precipitation. This year I went home. 13 years and it ain't changed much. Just a bit more grimy, a bit more fucked up. From the shattered windows on the city mall to the deep potholes that be plaguing the streets, I miss that shit. Bonnets on bonnets, niggas on niggas, like the literal FUBU track by Solange, you know, the one where she goes, all my niggas in the whole wide world. Until the first moment I got out the car, realized that I didn't miss much. And the Solange vibe was only a flex from the driver's seat. My niggas from home, my culture of where I first sprouted, crooked. Just like the trees that line the streets, my roots came out broken. Cause these niggas be shooting. They be punching out niggas' teeth. They be birds of prey picking off who they deem unworthy of being, of existing. Man, woman, baby, and child, none of that shit matters. These niggas don't value life. Before I arrived to my first home, I did my best to whittle out as much of my insides that I could. Walking deep into unknown territory, I was preparing to stand before my father so that we could bury my grandmother. Too many pieces to wrap my head on, like how I hadn't seen this nigga in person in 16 years. In moments where I could get my frame still, my body to move, I began gathering shells to shove inside my eyes, then gathered more to rip off the flesh on my chest and shove some in front of my heart, because this is a nigga who doesn't value life, not his nor mine. Since my beginning, my roots beat the shit out of every woman he's ever loved, beat the shit out of my mama, and she tried to honor this nigga for my sake. My roots held me hostage when I was 4 years old. Wouldn't let me go until my mama brought the police. I remember watching him get cuffed that day. My roots stole from me, took everything my mama and I have, every dime, left us with nothing but holes in our soul. Anger blazing like a wildfire, waiting day after day for him to come back, but he never did. A few weeks ago, I went home. Hadn't seen my granny in 14 years, wasn't planning for our first reunion of my adulthood to be this way. Was terrified to look up on her face. Still, gone at rest. Once we got to Milwaukee, my anxiety exploded in my head like popcorn kernels hitting hot oil, bubbling my thoughts, causing thunder to be constantly rumbling inside my hands when the time finally came for my father and I to stand face to face. The monster that I had been picturing, the monster that I've been remembering, melted away into just a helpless old giant, melted the terror right out of my bones. When I pulled up to my grandmother's house, my roots scooped me up, wrapped around my torso like vines. He seemed happy to hold me in his arms. We sat down on the porch, shoulder to shoulder, and I let him speak. My roots spoke to me real as fuck, because we both grown now. He praised his mother for being the one to keep some ties on his children, for bringing me home. He spoke about how in her last days, she talked about how much she missed me, how her wish came true, just not the way that he thought it would. Thank you.
Everyone please give it up for Maven.
This is my first time performing in over a year and a half. This is also my first time performing in front of a group of ninjas, so that was a horrible joke. Trigger warning, I cuss, that's for language, and trigger warning for violence. Let's go. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. Self-made, never need savior. Been a couple years since I gave fucks. I had cereal for dinner on my grown man. Dreadhead, no shirt, Tarzan, raised by the wolves, trained by gorillas, shit at the jungle book, so I rather mix up, so I'll be a mix up, both with my dick up and keep a low pro, and love poach. Switches in my pocket, but I know like I go. Got a flex for the gram, and that's just how I go. Affirmation, maybe working the dope. My day's working on a million, I'm a million, yo. Get it? Dance back, right and turn, all black pants and the all back sweater. I sing songs in the all bad weather with the big pump back, and it feels all better. Ooh, Hogan knows best, but it didn't know better. I eat fast food and I say prayers never. Days in the desert where they don't vote Obama. Brown boy living on a dream is a problem. Tease them with a teasing and cheese, one time. Not the biggest record in the trader for a chopper. Out into the rest, but again I'm on a doctor. I love it, that's my brother, how it feels to be a martyr. The mic is hot. I'm about to spit all over this road so they can clean it up. It's okay, it's mine though. Maybe no one man sweatshop, bars non-stop, while the wristwatch tick-tock. Dog, I'm never plotting, I'm just living. Just trying to stay afloat with the devices I was given. I got vices and I'm living. I got projects never finished. I got several goals, records that forever go over it. Because I've been a misfit. My birth certificate's a misprint. I was born dead, but I wasn't born desperate. Stuck to the clothes, so forever unprotected. Always tatted on my back to show these niggas I'm invested. I'm rubbing hooligans, the press of hooligans contested, invested. Go in your fucking blood when they get fested. I don't care about you flexing, this a genuine cloud. I just wanna be respected with some food in my mouth. We to ex-girlfriend didn't love me. She like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Teachers taught me nothing, called police and called my mama to a heathen. I have yet to visit Jesus in a proper student, hot pursuit of circles that I belong. Nowadays emotions mimic motions of a seesaw. Car is broken, wallet stolen, tell me what I did wrong. Keep your focus, hocus pocus, baby, I won't be long. I beat on that foul shit, they think I ain't foul shit. Keep feeling this sleeve, never been pretty, give it to the brown kids. Charlie Brown shit with my fair kid. Charlie Brown shit with my fair kid. I'm embarrassed with myself. Roll the wood in the wood, share it with myself. In the hood, out the hood, rolling by myself. Take this pill I never tried, cause I ain't rolling by myself. I ain't rolling by myself. Got me burning roaches, sleeping on this couch in this house in the roaches. Pockets looking, keep me on my toes, got me lifted burning. Hey, rolling, 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 got me burning roaches, sleeping on this couch in this house in the roaches. Rolling, 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 pockets looking broken, keep me on my toes, got me lifted burning roaches. Thank you. And this is what I say to those roaches. I thought the part came right here, but it didn't. It's after this. You see a roach climb out the wall, you'd be like, fuck you and the motherfucking hole you fucking climbed out of. I've been throwing bows and choking throats for quite some time now. My hometown's filled with locusts, my ashtray's filled with roaches. That's my ass if I lose focus. That's your ass if I feel hopeless. Fuck you and the motherfucking hole you fucking climbed out of. I've been throwing bows and choking throats for quite some time now. My hometown's filled with locusts, my ashtray's filled with roaches. That's my ass if I lose focus. That's your ass if I feel hopeless. Thank you, my name is Mike Mason, y'all. Give it up for Sean and everybody that put this on, man. This is beautiful.
Bates is a pianist, educator, and artistic collaborator from Phoenix, creating with all kinds of storytellers such as musicians, movers, poets, and theater artists. Her background in classical jazz and popular styles of piano give her a multi-threaded musical lineage, which she shares with those eager to learn. Currently, alongside her teaching practice, Carly plays in the local band Hyperbella and at a local theater company, Playback Arizona. So give it up for Carly!
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming out.
We're seeing now well. about singing this one because I played an event and it was full of police and I was told I was not allowed to sing this song because it might upset them. And Sean was like, you should sing it here instead. So this song alludes to police brutality and his mentions of death.
And This story ain't a fairy tale or a Disney movie or a musical. This story doesn't have a perfect ending. My curls don't fall perfectly into a twist out. My thoughts do not fall perfectly from my mouth. My mind ain't always a catalyst for change. I am not always ready for change. I am not always fearless. This story is about some shit I don't want to talk about and y'all don't actually want to hear, but it's much too common to be avoided. The black girl gets tired of her magic being defined by her strength, acknowledges her depression, stops repressing the trauma, begins to trim it out of herself like removing the wishbone from a chicken, displays her weaknesses like a first-place trophy and an animal in a zoo, gazed upon with scornful smiles, straining to be seen as support. Accountability leads her body to the winner's circle, but the awareness leads her mind to rage. James Baldwin said to be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time. This poem is not some general story about black rage. This is the story about how the black girl fed her ego until her soul starved. I was 20 years old when I attempted suicide twice. I thought I could jump out of my depression or swallow it down until the poison overtook me. I mean, depression is a chemical imbalance anyway, right? What happens when you mix it with bleach? I expected a fatal chemical reaction, not bearing in mind that I diluted it with milk and yogurt because I was afraid to die. And you can't go into attempting suicide with weak knees, bowed head, doubt. I was in the Banner Behavioral Health Hospital for 6 days. Started off blaming it on a bad acid trip, drug-induced suicide attempt until my parents came to visit me on the 4th day. This was when the trauma started piercing through my skin, blood ran down, and named itself molestation at 7 years old, and not learning how to ride a bike until I was 9, and never learning how to swim because my father did not know how to teach with kindness. And my mother's cramming perfection down my throat, not supporting anything I wanted to do if it was not something she felt she could get in on. My mother said they wouldn't let me leave and I would have to come back to live with her after I'd already been living on my own for 2 years. My father said I had never experienced any real trauma. I told them the story of my sexual abuse from both my female and male cousins, and they yelled at me. My mother said the abuse from my girl cousin was nothing because we were so young. She already knew about it, and my aunt had beaten my cousin for it when it happened. My father said I was a willing participant with the boy. In that room, I knew I had to stop ignoring my own pain, start speaking up when I felt emotionally unsafe, so I told them to leave. Unsilencing myself released me from the shame of parental expectations. Opening my mouth when it matters most has saved my life more times than I can count. I carry these stories with me now, after I almost killed myself. Both the protagonist and the villain, and I'm the one who made it out alive. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. All right, I got one more piece. This is after a poem by Denis called Shout Out to My Niggas in Mexico. This is titled Ode to My Niggas in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? I love myself the best when I am not beating my heart senseless while reflecting on my mistakes. Sometimes I forget that healing is not linear, that growth looks different for everyone, that the sun does not disappear simply because the moon is out. When I awake after a moon-filled night, I meditate, stretch my legs across my living room floor and say hello again to the sun because he's back like he never left. And I am reminded that I deserve kindness from myself, that I am capable of showing kindness to others even if I am just learning how to do it right. My holy place is wherever me and my niggas are able to be ourselves. Hope is the thought of safety for my niggas, of unfastening the fear that limits equality of life for black and fat and disabled and queer people. A very real and warranted fear created by a system that tells us the bodies we were born in do not deserve joy. A system that punishes us when we choose to seek joy anyway. I just want me and my niggas to be able to go camping alone. To connect with nature and to not always be about a man or a tree or a body of water or the connection to men and trees and bodies of water not always being a warning, a foreboding tale of death. For the last year, I've been grieving the loss of my mother even though she is still alive. And my niggas hold me. They remind me of my strength, however annoyed I am by having to push past my softness in order to survive here. They remind me that I have survived so much, and I think about when I was 20 years old and did not want to survive, and when I was 16 and did not want to survive, and when I was 6 and people thought I wouldn't survive. I'm the one who made it out alive after I almost killed me, after grief almost killed me, after a virus almost killed me, after violence almost killed me, after rejection almost killed me, after reflection almost killed me. I'm the one who made it out alive. So I hold myself and know that if I am alive for nothing more than this holding and no one else but myself, it is worth being alive for the time I have been afforded here by the universe. And I'm gonna make it count every time I see my niggas. Me and my niggas embody the entire universe. Worlds of knowing be lodged between our teeth, piercing our gums, forcing their way off of our lips because we just gotta pass around this free game. Me and my niggas want each other to succeed. Me and my niggas talk shit to each other. Roast ashy knees and white ancestry we never asked for. Discuss the true and uncomfortable things that ultimately stretch us into being our most authentic selves. Me and my niggas want to love each other as our most authentic selves. This is not an ode to those who pride themselves on being racially ambiguous, or those who love to worship ancestors who do not belong to them, who call themselves Phoenix natives as if them and their ancestors are not colonizers of this Hohokam, Yuma, Akmel Odom, Yavapai land. Me and my niggas understand we are not of this land, but we here, tending to this land like it's our own, fighting to be proud Black Arizonians and queer folks and others. I was born and raised in South Phoenix. Black and poor and small, but also black and femme and fierce, a fire sign. And I think about how intentional the universe was when they wrote my story, knew that my reincarnation was imminent. And God help you if you are a phoenix, and you dare to rise up from the ash. The legend of the phoenix states that when it feels its end approaching, it builds a nest of the finest aromatic woods, sets it on fire, and allows itself to be consumed by flames. When I turned 18 and a half, I ran away from my mother's home, from the inferno of trauma, crimson and copper scorching my insides. When I turned 23 and a half, I discovered 2 community gardens were being cultivated down the street and around the corner from where I ran away from. When I went to volunteer, I felt exactly the same and completely different. The soil knew me as though I had risen from it because I had buried my inner child in the MLK Jr. and PL Julian playgrounds, underneath the broken down Cadillacs in my daddy's backyard on 25th and Corona. My body left, but my soul stayed on the south side, knowing I would return to the soil one day. Me and my niggas be all the sacred in the ground. Be the phoenix ash, snow bunnies dust from their shoes on their way back to wherever the fuck we never asked them to leave from. I am a child of the Valley of the Sun, desert, place of worship. The phoenix worships for 500 years at a time and only takes 3 days to rise again. Thank you.
So the first question, going through your work, I was thinking a lot about storytelling and use of time in your work, alternating between the past, present, future, which all seem to overlap. How does time work for you? What does it feel like, look like, etc.?
I mean, I'm like currently decolonizing my idea of time, just because like working at 9 to 5 and then like quitting and like trying to be a fucking entrepreneur, which is like, oh, capitalism has hit me hard. Yeah, I'm kind of late to things and like, I don't know. But when it comes to my use of time in my like writing, I would say I'm like constantly trying to reflect on things in order to heal. Shout out to therapy, because I had to go back. But yeah, and then bring that into the present and try to see like different patterns.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm processing. No, that was a really, really good answer, thank you. I think for me, definitely thinking about how it's different in your life and how you said you're trying to undo things, and then also being like, I feel like I'm late, things like that, I think really resonates with a lot of people who are actively creating and also like working to undo those capitalist ideas, because it's hard to do that when you're forced to do it every day. Yes, nice. Moving on to the next question. So sort of, this is in reference to your first poem specifically, but it's whatever. So disregarding the liberal co-option of magic, what is magic to you, and what is the intention of redefining it and naming yourself through your work as an ongoing process?
Okay, what was, how do I see magic?
Sure, like what is magic to you?
I think magic can come in lots of different forms. Like if you're talking about like magic with different creatives, I think it's just like you get in a room and you vibe with people. But if you're talking about magic just in general, I think that it's in everything. I think that we take a lot of the mundane things for granted, like nature is like all magic, our bodies are magic, like everything that we do is magic. So like, you know, understanding that we are all conjurers if we believe that to be true, if we understand the magic that we hold within our bodies.
Yes, awesome answer, thank you.
What was the second half of that?
Yes, Well, I think you kind of answered it. It was what is the intention of redefining it, because the first one is about redefinition, and then naming yourself through your work as an ongoing process.
Yeah, naming myself I think is intertwined with my magic, I would say, because like I kind of just shut myself down for a long time hiding. So it's really nice to just like be able to be myself and like the things that I like and do the things that I do and like understand that that's who I am and be able to name myself in those ways without thinking about criticism, even though it still comes up, obviously. And then, you know, understanding that I'm a naturally magical being and it's okay to be good at many things and it's okay to like not know shit about some things and like go to people and ask for help and learn.
Thank you. So if we understand magic as part of culture work, even thinking about in ancient and even recent histories of those who perform prayers and spells and rituals before battle, revolution, intentional upheaval, what place does magic have in world building, and how do you see your poems, your cooking, etc. playing a role in that?
I think that magic is vital to world building. I think that it's important, specifically speaking from a cultural position, like it's important to find out those secrets and keep them a secret. You know, not sharing so much with everyone, you know, specifically white colonizers. Just because we've been stripped of so much of like our history and witchcraft, if you want to call it that, but like root work and things like that that are like specific to like Black Americans. I think that it's really important for us to hone back in on that and understand the power that we have as Black Americans, even though we're like trying to fight back to get back to Africa. Well, some of us, like, you know, understanding that like, okay, we were brought here, what do we learn, what do we retain? And I think that it's really important in world building. I think that it's vital. It's vital to keeping the world alive. Because once we get back to the magic of like nature and everything, that's how we can really shut shit down.
Yeah, magic is magic because it's sacred. I hear that. Awesome. And then, so fun question. What are you currently unpacking?
Shit. I mean, y'all heard a little bit of it, but I think right now I'm unpacking how to release close relationships, how to read flags from people. I think that that's what I'm kind of like currently unpacking, and also like the ways that I have used trauma responses in different relationships, specifically in friendships, instead of like dealing with the trauma or being able to communicate better. I think I'm unpacking that a lot and like trying to go back and be like, yo, I know we haven't talked in like 3 months, I'm sorry. Like this is, I was mad about this, but I didn't say that kind of thing. Because I don't know, I like am a people pleaser sometimes. I'm working through that, but like, yeah, so sometimes it's hard for me to do that. But yeah, that's what I'm unpacking.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yes, really quick before we go, where can people find more of you and your work and support you?
Oh yeah, right now I kind of hate social media, I'm not gonna front, but I am on Instagram at Healer Who's Healing. That's healer.who's.healing. And yeah, I have some poetry on there. If I get like footage of this performance, it'll be on there. I'm gonna start posting my food flyers on there. I'm a chef. I'm trying to do some private chef work. So, and yeah, that's where you can find me and contact me. All the things.
Awesome. Everyone give it up for Shantia.
Sean was like, your sister gave me a short bio, so you gotta say a little bit more. Raquel has always been an artist, always drawing, always painting, always singing, teaching herself how to play instruments, piano, flute, guitar. She has been healing herself through art and music for our whole childhood. I'm super proud of her, and she's gonna come up and perform now. Hey. I keep my bios short. Short and sweet. This song is called Magic, which I think is great, Raji. I see your face. Which is beautiful that
that is going to be a through line and a thread throughout the conversation tonight. I started writing this song in 2020 when I was, obviously, when we all were just like, what is happening? And after like 2019 and 2020 just feeling so, just so tired, so exhausted, so spent. I was reflecting on my early 20s when I first left, 19, moved out of my parents' house, and there was this faith and this trust that I had that I would be taken care of. And I was. And the most magical things would happen. And after the last 2 years, I just realized, like, what happened to that? Where did that go? What happened to that trust? And so then I wrote this song. You hear that? Is that loud enough? Okay. I woke up this morning anyway. I didn't know what I was bound to see or say. You can't believe all the things that I wanna be today. No one else is sure about their way, and that's okay, and that's okay. I woke up this morning anyway. I didn't know what I was bound to see or say. You can't believe all the things that I wanna be today. No one else is sure about their way, and that's okay, and that's okay. Because it's magic, magic today. Oh, it's magic, 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 magic. Anyway, and no one can take that away. No one can take that away. They can't take that away. No, they can't take that away. They can hurt you, persecute you, lock you up, separate you, pin you down, suffocate you. They can hurt you, they can rape you, they can take your voice, oh, but nobody gets to take your magic away, your magic away, or just let them try, just let them try, just let them this morning anyway. I didn't know it, I was bound to see your face.
So kind of going through, doing the through line thing, if we think about your music and the music you make as magic, what is your magic ritual process like and the intention for casting these spells?
So, such a cool ass question. So I think, yeah, making songs for me is like a completely fucking weird, beautiful, magical, spiritual process where I just sit down and I literally just start ad-libbing some things and singing some things and making some things up, and then something happens and I feel like a whole ass something like deep within, like before language shows up, and I do think that's the divine, and that's what it is for me. I grew up, in church, singing in church, and so there was always this like spiritual, like others, there's a presence in me, there's a presence around me, there's a presence from all around, kind of like interrupting me and escaping from me. And we would sing always before anything important, at anything important. And so for me, it's when I get to sit down in my day from my 9-to-5 job and just let it, whatever it is, just interrupt me. And it really is magical. I guess it's spirit, yeah.
No, spirit. That word interrupt, like an interruption. That's so
A good interruption.
I'll be thinking about that for sure. So I also asked this question to Shantia, but thinking about what place do you see, or not even place, that's so late, but where do you see, I suppose, your music and the magic have in world building, whether that's in your songs or like out in the world?
Such a good question. Okay, where do I even start with this? So, currently, in the genre of music that I play in, it is dominated by white men and white folks. And I'm just here to say I've been studying some different musicians. Aida Victoria, Rhiannon Giddens, Layla McCalla, Sweet Honey in the Rock. And for me, world building, like letting this magic build something, is like actually reclaiming what we made, what we started. Like, if y'all don't know, folk music was made by black people. And the banjo came from Haiti. And before folk music got recorded, it was a black people's music. And so that's hopefully my call in our work, is to reclaim music that is, my grandfather's from Haiti, and I didn't even know that's where the banjo came from. So I have 2 banjos sitting in my closet, just waiting for me to just like tingle them. So for me, that's what the world building is like, no, this belongs to me, and this was my ancestors, and I want to know what it is, and I want to play it, and I want to be a part of this lineage, and I want to be a part of these women that are moving this forward. So that's what it is.
Right on. So what else in your life are you currently unpacking?
Oh my Lord. What am I not unpacking right now? Where could I even start? I could start with my nipples, just like, my nipples are a different color, I don't know. I mean, it's just like, what am I not unpacking? Like my vagina, like, I don't know, like it's all like, I'm starting with my body, y'all. I'm trying to unpack that shit. But no, for real, I think right now I'm unpacking so much of everything for me lately has been like, I'm pivoting away from work that I've been doing. Like a lot of my best friends are here, but I'm going on sabbatical in September, and we haven't talked about it yet. 4 to 6 months. I'm about to fundraise sometime soon, so I'm letting go of a lot right now because I think for far too long I have felt that my only calling is to live out some weird martyr lifestyle, and that's just not true. I think a lot of Black women experience that. And so I'm saying goodbye to a lot of things come September, and for me that means unpacking family stuff with my mother, and really unpacking who I am as an artist and what that's going to take to live out that calling. So yeah, I'm unpacking that heavily right now with all my mentors and spiritual mentors and in my journal and all that good stuff.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes. Okay. Awesome. I hear you have a Patreon as well. Is that true?
Your girl has a Patreon.
Interesting.
And she wants your money. I do. I have a Patreon. I think it's Patreon/Raquel. I think that's what it is. I don't know. Go to my Instagram, Raquel Denis _ This Denis with one N, Denis. At Raquel Denis. And you can find my Patreon link on there. I love all of you. I love you, Sean. Yeah, Sean. You're a real one, Sean. I love you, Robbie.
Everyone keep it up for Raquel. Woo!
808s and Otherworlds, Memories, Remixes, and Mythologies is Medlin's debut collection, releasing on September 14th, 2021 from indie book publisher $2 Radio. Their book is available for pre-order now. So please unlock
it. What's up, y'all? Alright, so I'm gonna drop an EP in 2 weeks, right? This song right here is one of the songs on the EP that I made with Masuno. Shout out Masuno in the back. Listen, rapping is spell casting, I'm the sorcerer prince. Severing several falsities of my skin. Keeping the kingdom open only for my kin. Logging on pain and on joy and music and print. Okay, mark of a slave. And I still learned all they ways to behave. Get a grave either way. Tools of the master designed to enchain us to the sunken place. It's the furthest from a game. I appreciate the page as a stage for my page. Me plus a verse plus a beat equals flames. Kids in the cul-de-sac using black slang. They don't even know what the hell they be saying. I answer to my ancestry over my ego. Let me run it back to define my ethos. Niggas in the cargo ships survive Evo. Carrying their culture deep in their genomes. The rhythm and the poetry posted through my people. The ballpoint tip of my pen, it's just the people. Ancestry circulates deep in arteries, yo. Even if I may never know where they called home, as rum is the home sweet home that I've been known. Right. Cause rapping is spell casting, I'm the sorcerer prince. Severing several falsities of my skin. Keeping the kingdom open only for my kin. Logging our pain and our joy in music and print. Rapping is spell casting, I'm the sorcerer prince. Severing several falsities of my skin. Keeping the kingdom open only for my kin. Logging our pain and our joy in music and print. Rapping is spell casting, nigga. Hey, keeping the kingdom open, logging our pain and joy. Okay, so to be real honest with y'all, I really didn't even want to read a lot of stuff in the book tonight. Because I'm about to read stuff in the book for a year straight. But I am going to do some stuff in the book. Coming out September 14th, 808s and Otherworlds, we're going to drop the audio book as well the same day. So you can get that and the print copy if you would like. You can order it online at $2radio.com. Or you can order on Palabra's website as well if you are more so of a local bookstore seeker. If you live in Tucson,
You can get it from Revolutionary Grounds as well.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, so trigger warning, I guess, for the derogatory language and police brutality. I think that's it. Money is temporary. Hip-hop will simply amaze you, craze you, pay you, do whatever you say do, but it can't save you. Hip-hop by Yasin Bey, formerly known as Mos Def. No one can tell me that hip-hop can't save me. Swear that it made me and daily rap pays me. Rap brought my baby and she had my baby and I bought it Louis and Fendi and Gucci, my niggas still slanging. I told them be bodyguards for me. We're touring in LA, I opened for Baby and Baby and Baby. I think I feel happy. My canines are icy and shiny and pricey, my mama keeps calling. She saw me on TV, but lately I'm busy with meetings and parties and sessions and press, smoking and drinking, and I'm not depressed. I'm upset. My streaming payout is $50K a check. And that's not enough to pay off my jet, my daughter's dog Snoopy's trip to the vet, my entourage addiction to Xanax and sex, or the cost of my album, my outfits, my sets, my mortgage, my lawyer fees piling like stress and hospital bills. Something hurts in my chest, my baby don't text me. My closest friends and family are dead, their funerals passed. I'm not really sad. I really be high and hype and smiling all the time because my bottom teeth blind and my top teeth diamond. I dropped out and moved out and then I was homeless and nobody knew me, believed me or saw me. Now I have advertisements on your story. My left wrist is golden, my right wrist is scabby. My single is number 2 right after Posty and I need more money. I need more jewelry. I need more luxury phones and I need endorsements. I don't need therapy. I need an orgy. I don't need counseling. I need a bag. I said it before, I'm not sad. Sometimes it's just kind of hard to wake up. Being famous kind of sucks. This emergency room ain't half bad. Thank you. So this next one is titled Consequence. Let's build a temple, the men said. Let's name it the Trap. Here, we'll name ourselves, etch our faces into the mountains. We lost all we knew in the stomach of a ship, the teeth of a shark, but let's build a temple. Let's name it the Trap. This land will recognize our new names. This country that robbed us will sing our song. The capital will give us capital, and we will not work as servants in their cathedral. I was brought to the Trap as a child. I gave it my body. It gave me power. Inside, boys offer their tender hearts to gas stoves. The face of their father and their father's father float, suspended like smoke caught in amber. I chose what the grandsons, great-grandsons, and great-great-grandsons of slaves choose, to be a ghost of myself. Embalmed corpse in currency, commander, to chain the world within feverish finger length, because why not us? A master orders lessers, makes and unmakes laws, buys humans wholesale, splits families, sees red with blood. Master owns what I see, and if not, master takes what eyes see. We are made of the same stuff, master and I. Flesh, bone, a hole of ash like an urn where the heart was. Let's build a temple, the men said, a place of worship, big, white buildings. Let's name it the Trap. Here, we'll exchange our skin for gold and gemstones. Here, we are kings. The cost of power is living in a coffin. It's comfortable. All the meat and liquor one can crave, caked into 6 sides. Boys walk through the front door of the Trap and girls go down the cellar door. Boys leave with cold weapons, one long scar, and girls leave with their face frozen like petrified wood. The faces of our fathers say everything is as it should be. Sometimes a boy sees his mother nod in agreement, her face unfossilized for a price. I hear women breaking themselves out of the Trap. Is it too late? Can I lift the wooden lid hiding my face? Here is the temple black men built. Our splendor canvassing the black women we've buried to touch the sky. I'm banging my fist against the hexagon. I'll give back power to break out of this prison. I push and punch. The trapdoor budges millimeter by millimeter. A smell punctures the mildew, and I know that I'll die here underground, pushing out. How we doing? How we doing? Y'all rocking with me? Lit. Okay. I'm gonna do a couple more pieces. I'm not too concerned with time. Corpus meum 1. Corpus meum is Latin for my body. My body be the finances of empires. Old as greasy mountain, that's South Mountain. Black as the mountain's backside at dawn, older than star studies and gods, my body both built and builded. Countries stand because we bent. My body royal we, a risen demigod, Phaeton, the sunbringer, a boy thought to be relic and fertilizer. My body dark-fleshed, blue fire, I sing my body's song, throat like whittled wings, praise my body. Learn to coax their needs until the quivers quit. I remember our first sprint, how even then I mistook miracle for meaning, how even now I give myself mercy, I give myself forgiveness. Okay, I'm gonna do this one that I wasn't gonna cut, but I'm kind of feeling it right now. Rika heard this one. Yeah. Why would I get a job? My pops be playing my raps after dump God is costly. Being so refined and this raw, I'm bossy. That's just the Aries in my chart. Get off me. I need more space than a big dog been flossing. Since my retainer and night guard pen bars like Saul behind bars. Venetian rock star, rhyming on a cop car. I'm for real. They want to know what's up, what's my deal. I told them to round up on the pay scale. Soul like a circuit board with live wires, but I ain't finna work to death like beehives. Your country wants me diseased, horrified. Yet here I am, I stand avengeful and alive. Yet here I am, I stand reflective and alive. Yet here I am, I stand electric and alive. Yet here I am, I stand afire. I like that. Okay, Pete. I don't have a death wish. I'm just realistic. Rest in power, Deion Johnson, shot for sleeping in his own bed. Master and the overseer no longer need leather whips, minimum wage, or a prison sentence, ensured labor's finished. Either that or we bound to the rock, no scrimmage, that's a double entendre for crack, in case you missed it.
Traumatic genetics got me distant as illusions of oasis. Don't ask me why I'm high past my pipe or don't say shit. You would smoke a lot of weed too if you had nightmares of slave ships. I spent 20 years debating if my complexion is really worthless. And I got an answer. It's just as militant as the Panthers. Sensitive as a cancer, yet so unfit for liberal banter. Remember Nat Turner? What did he do? Remember Miss Tubman with the shotty? What did she do? Give us another decade to regroup. Next time we hit the streets, hit the ground when we shoot. Okay, I'm gonna do one more for y'all. I wrote this one just for this event. I'm very excited. I'm an artist. Of course, I'm addicted to Instagram. Of course, I'm addicted to lauding and fawning fans. Of course, I won awards and award shows to end. Of course, I'm an artist is the refrain of this poem. This is America, and I'm not Donald Glover. This isn't Atlanta. This is Arizona, where statesmen invest in more prisons than housing despite record-breaking heat and rapidly decreasing clean water supply. Where cameras line border wall on each side, swivel 360 like Sauron's great lidless eye. Where public school budgets plummet while police budgets double, quintuple, where businesses have the right to refuse gay couples and light rail blew South Central into rubble. I'm an artist. Of course I want to get in trouble. Pen or sword, our resistance is privatized. All art is federally authorized. The court could subpoena my Google Drive. Contracts can't be value aligned. I'm an artist. In the Imperial Corps, of course, I believe I'm an artist. This is America. No, I'm not Donald Glover. Disney won't hire me for Star Wars. ASU hires me for workshops, but not prisoners who pack crates of dining hall food and build bunk beds, chairs, desks for freshmen in dorm rooms. Press license plates to identify university vehicles and suffer when, upon release, coming home to a hollow, gentrified shell of their homes, because land development projects by art institutions bought all the empty lots and old buildings that should be used for low-income housing. Before incarceration, they should have received scholarships. If colleges gave two shits. I'll let that one sit. I'm an artist. Most times except for now, I'm hyperbolic. Most times except for now, I'm somewhat subtle. My intention is set to pierce because my home is a bubble. What's blackness without black struggle? I shouldn't have to tell you. You see me, right? Again, what's blackness without black struggle? Of course, suffering is my right. I'm an artist. Of course, suffering is my right. You see me, right? Mouth bleeding, inherited plight. Too dark to be a red bone, conditioned to chase light. Look, I'm not Donald Glover. We don't come from the same household income. Of course, he and I are perceived as the same kind of black. Of course, he and I are both supposedly a legible kind of black. Of course, all of us self-define different kinds of black, regardless of having blackness. Of course, his wife isn't black. Of course, I share the biased truth of my romantic life, present and past. I'm an artist. When I write, there's no room for regret.
Of course, what I make someone somewhere upset. Of course, I'm performing overtime on my set. Of course, I'll produce art, no matter how apocalyptic this gets. My work is truly priceless. I'm a caretaker of our culture. Of course, what I grow and give, you get.
So for your first question, just because I know your work well, can you speak a little on your growth from your older work, which you've had conversations about that go from poems centered around identity and representation, and how those have expanded into the kind of poems you're writing now?
For sure. Thank you for this question, Erin. Yeah, I mean, I think like probably most of us in the room, like I was really caught up in identity politics from like 2016 until like 2020, right? It's kind of like what happened when Obama got elected twice in a row. It's like this idea that like our media needs to represent us, right? As if the media is like meant to serve us in the first place, like it's not propaganda. And so, like, yeah, I mean, I was really obsessed with like breaking down like the lack of representation, but then I was like, well, we're not represented in history, like why would we be in cartoons and video games? And, you know what I'm saying? Like, what, like, we're not represented, period. Like, what is the real function of trying to push so much for like these small, I don't want to say a win, they're like pseudo wins. They're like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like a drug to pacify us. And so I feel like what I would like to do is create work that really just gives all that shit the finger. But I guess like also really helps people understand that like, hey, like, don't overlatch onto I don't know, don't latch onto like these like AOC type, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about one politician or activist who has the right identity, you know what I'm saying, that could do something. Like, it's really like gotta be a communal, you really gotta come back to like where you're at on the ground and think about that. So that's a long answer, but like, that's what I'm trying, that's what I hope my work will do in the future.
Thank you for sharing all of that.
If you own the means of production, then there's not an outside force that can do anything about the distribution of your art unless by violence. If it's that serious, right? So I think that's really important, one. I also think that like it's really important to be rooted in like a community or group, small group of other folks with the same values, right? Who are either working towards their own anti-state art practice or just kind of there to help you with your process. I think that's really important because I don't think anything like that can happen in a vacuum. It's not gonna happen alone. And then I guess the third thing is like, be kind to yourself, be gentle. Like we talk like a big game about this like anti-state like revolution thing, but like we're all pretty deep in the opposite of that, right? We're all pretty like trained into the opposite of that. So I think that like you have to be kind to yourself when you make mistakes, and you have to let the people around you hold you accountable for those mistakes, right? Because we're all unlearning these things day by day, or aspiring to, or you know, we're on our way to unlearn them, like whatever your journey looks like.
Thank you. Yeah, that really makes me think about just like the importance of community documentation as well, which interestingly enough, Chris Buis Thrift has a typewriter over there that they would love for people to use. I said I would fit it in. Awesome. Next question. What are you currently unpacking? I know we've just unpacked a lot, but like for you, like what's going on?
Word. Currently unpacking desire as it pertains to like colorism. You know, that's like an inheritance of Jasper. I'm currently unpacking like this idea of like, what would it actually look like if I could make a living off of my art? Can I do that in a way that I feel like good about myself? I'm unpacking that, and then, I mean, honestly, I feel like it's gonna take me a while to really just unpack tonight. There's so many people here, and there's like so much love, and the performances have been great. And yeah, I just want to take this moment to thank everyone for being here. It really means a lot to me. I am humbled, you know, especially during this time. It's like more dangerous a little bit to be outside, but people are like showing up and showing love to be here together. And thank you for that, y'all.
And then where can we find more of you and support your work?
Yes, you just follow my Instagram. I put everything up there. It's wait, where's my Instagram? Oh, thank you. It's Skinny Black Sean, Skinny, and then BLK, and then Sean, SEAN.
Awesome. Give it up for Sean, everybody.
Can we snap for all of y'all who came, made some time tonight, this evening? Can we make some claps for solidarity and mutual aid? Yeah, we like that shit. Are we starting? Yeah? Cool. So real quick before I start, can we make some noise for, on guitar, Paul the Simple? Can we also make some noise for Casso on the keys? Yeah. And for me if you want.
We measure ourselves against the shadow of the thing that wounds us. Ana Flores. The situation is, we've been ruptured, splintered, fractured, shattered, disintegrated for half a millennium. I think about a breaking point often, the moment we were severed. I think about what ties us so close to the ghosts of moments. I still feel the theft of something that was mine, that should have been in my hands in this lifetime. And I snap myself out of those wanderings. There's so much being done, happening, always fluctuating. What good is remembering when there's still active dismemberment? And I can't help but want more than what we've been given in this lifetime. I want none of the children on my block to hide themselves. I want none of their life givers to worry ever again. I want the backdrop to be raised, fists lowering, gripping the shotgun, cocking back, aiming at the machines of capital and wealth. I want those who dismember to remember, even if it takes severing them. Pero ahora que my city is being swallowed by Amazon, Raytheon, Caterpillar, ambivalent snowbirds, political grifters, delusional consumerists, the building and building of more and more homes for less and less people, the militarization of the scar con la frontera, and revolutionary dreams, prolific poems, enraged manifestos, consistent grant funding, representation politics can't cut it. Ahora que there's an illusion the purveyors of domination convinced us of. The illusion is the absence of power in our hands. But look at them. Look at your hands. Look at your homies' hands. And look them in their eyes. The circles of our hands, the orbit of our lives cycling in this moment, the miraculous nature of us being here and being able to imagine. That is the shattering of the illusion. That is the reintegration of fragments. That's the spark to make the fuse run, to make the explosion happen sooner, to make this foundation collapse. That's how, that's why, together for each each other too. The solution could be a returning, a reintegration, a cycle closed, a new loop initiated. Bell Hook says, what we cannot imagine cannot come into being, so let's try that. Imagine the shadow of that thing no longer casting over us. Imagine the mutilation of the hands of capital. Imagine the new world being born as we mourn this old and bloody one. Imagine us but shimmering in joy, filled bellies, spirits bandaged, bodies nourished, names returned, tongues restored. Imagine a new language that gives us the agency to sing the ancient song that unites everything. Imagine the beginning to the healing, to after the collapse. Imagine when everything that is said is done.
ascension. I pray for my loved ones, health, the pandemic. I pray for attention. I pray for redemption. I pray that my days don't get swallowed by deception. I hate the silence, speak the silence through my ears. Getting see with violence, piercing my get lost devices. Just for my founded bias. Breathing so with blunt smoke, lives wrapped around like they frontos. Fontos who give us spot flows. God flows like a tributary. Got a soul that the wind will carry. I pray beyond the hands of Mary. I'm thankful for the things my mother buried. It's just be my heart burning slowly. I send love to those who hold me, to my ancestors and all my homies. Hey, 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 hey.
Hay algo brillante sobre el que compuso tu moda de ser. Hay algo brillante sobre el que compuso tu forma de ser. Que forma tu ser.
Let's restart.
Yeah! Yo, make some noise for human error right here.
Let's go. You got it, you got it. We vibing with you though.
I'm gonna do more fire.
More fire then.
Twist your eight, lose the weight, hold your breath.
Flowers in the deepest blue. Hearts waiting to make a sound. Gravity and a full moon. It's all for you. It's all for you. And I could be something you might be waiting for. And I could be something you might be waiting for. And I
There will be a time when our words will not suffice. There will be a time where our commitments will not be enough. There will be a time when our efforts will seem futile, and during that time it's important for us to invoke spirits to guide us through. Summon the tricksters, so that they may show us a different way to challenge dominators, patriarchs, nationalists, white supremacists. Summon loving gods to once again teach us togetherness. Summon saints and offer them tragos de mezcal. Summon sinners and have them sing songs of redemption. Summon the desecrated mothers. Apologize to them and have them dance and dance and dance. Summon the babies taken away from us too soon and have them eat, sleep, and cry. Summon Jesucristo and have him serve drinks to the parched lips of our revolutionaries. Have him serve bread for the rumbling stomachs of our warriors. Have him serve fish for everyone dancing and singing and crying. Summon La Santísima Muerte and have her keep the band playing until the moon falls, until she is singing us into revelry. Summon the unnamed ones and let's hold them close to our pulsing hearts. Have them bring them We summon all these caring and enraged spirits so we may sing the new song that will unite everything and help us destroy this old, bleeding world. Make some noise for Paul and Simple, for Fossil, and for all of y'all. For real. Thank you.
Thank you so much for performing. Thank you for comment and Paul. Awesome. I'm curious, starting we're going to ease into this, how do you approach music making versus your poetry making, like in your poetry collection? What are the overlaps? What does that look like?
Yeah. At this point in my life, I kind of just am like, what am I? Do I want to rap today, or do I want to like cry over some like memoir type writing? So it's the mood. So the mood really takes it. And I think before, when I wasn't really comfortable with songwriting, I would like imagine making songs, and that would get me through the creativity thing. But they overlap. I mean, it's the medium. It's just how I'm feeling the day, honestly. Like, Anna can see it too. We'll just be making hella just different ways of documenting, different ways of like being the scribes of what's happening to our day-to-day lives, shit that's happening in our city, and what we're all kind of experiencing on the internet, right? I think the internet plays a big part in like what I'm like digesting sometimes. So it kind of just, it's whatever the day feels like usually.
Awesome, thank you for that. In your book as well, you talk about time loops. For you, what does time look like in a new world free from, per se, the United States? How does time move differently? What shape does it take, or what shape do we realize it as?
I'm gonna say fuck the calendar, the Gregorian calendar one time. But I think it, outside of that imagination, I just imagine it being more intentional, more thoughtful with our time. I feel like if our basic human rights were, upheld in every part of this dimension that we're in, and if we can uphold those for ourselves, like, time just becomes something we get to share. It becomes a resource that doesn't go away. And I think right now we're taught to I remember I was counting time by like how long the hour was, like thinking of like everything as a shift. I'd clock in to go home, I'd clock in to go, write a poem, I'd clock in, like that sort of shit. And it's been really interesting to kind of think like, how can you move away from that and then also strive to like make timeless things, right? Things that like exist without any notation or sense of time and shit. My Mercury and Gemini is like trying to figure out how to day, but I don't like time.
Yeah, for sure, that makes a lot of sense. Awesome. So I wanted to frame this question with a quote as well. This is from Mao. In our struggle for the liberation of the Chinese people, there are various fronts, among which there are the fronts of the pen and of the gun, the cultural and the military fronts. To defeat the enemy, we must rely primarily on the army of guns, but this army alone is not enough. We must also have a cultural army, which is absolutely indispensable for uniting our own ranks and defeating the enemy. And yeah, it's good. I would love it if you spoke back to this quote. What does a cultural army look like in your dreaming? What's the significance, even unpacking, like, the connotation of the violence in the word army, right?
Army, yeah, no, that's a good one. Seeing at the email, I was like, whoa, this is good. Also, all the questions you've been asking everybody have been amazing, so I must have to like. The cultural army one, I think that, I don't know, I guess it could look different for different people, right? Depending on like what your environment is, but for me, it's definitely like building the coalition, right? Between different types of artists, different mediums, but also different circumstances, right? Like, for instance, I'm always thinking like, what does it look like when musicians, specifically musicians who are marginalized, come together and like, you know, form unions or form ways of protecting each other, right? And that's one way to think about it, but then to arm yourself, right? To hit the revolution when we say fuck venues, fuck universities, fuck these MFA programs, fuck this, that, the other, all the things that keep us tied to these commitments that don't serve us, these institutions that don't serve us. So my imagining is when we all get there together, we can kind of find that we're in this together, right? We're in this to kind of find a way to message this, to spread out this idea of coming together under, you know, a thing that unites us, a thing that like, you know, could be like something like socialism, it could be something like humanitarian work, it could be something like mutual aid, all the shit that can just remind us that the way to be is together, but sometimes we have to fight to be together, right? To come together, to see one another, to get through conflict and all that stuff. And I think Mao was a Capricorn too, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so that's you know what I mean? Embodying the change, really being about it in your body, and how you share your time and your labor, and most of all, the most priceless thing that we have is love, right? Being able to give that shit out freely, but also trusting that people will reciprocate that honor, you know what I mean? So that's what I see.
Thank you so much for that answer. What are you currently unpacking? Everyone's so nervous at this question.
It's a lot though, low-key, unpacking. The way I came to that word, it has never not left me crying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like this conversation because then it can be anything, right? So I can cry with y'all. I trust y'all. I'm sweating up here, you know, I can cry with y'all.
Look at me.
But I guess unpacking really is the way labor is extracted from our bodies day to day. Like even on the artist struggle, dude, like it feels like you can't run away from capitalism, any like intersection you hit. And I think that's like, you have to grieve that, you have to mourn that, and then be like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna be like the most staunch hater of capitalism to get through it, right? And to imagine something else, because if not, you're kind of like, I don't know, not complicit, but like there's like a complacency that I think when we think about labor, giving it to somebody, getting our checks cut, shit like that, like it sucks because you think of like the history of, we're on a planet and we're paying taxes and we're paying this shit, you feel me? Like when you wake up from that, you're like, fuck, dude, I really have to do my W-9s and shit like that. While like wrestling with existentialism and trying to like make sense of what it is that we're doing to be free, to get liberated, you know? So that's what I'm unpacking. That and like trying to take care of this hair. I think that's been a lesson. That's been a lesson, you know? Just because, you know, I used to be bald a lot. My dad used to cut my hair hella, so this is like new to me, having the hair. So I see long hair folks. I see taking care of what it is, you know?
It looks real nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. It's always weird thinking about, I remember I had to do an invoice for like a university gig, and you had to write down like what it is. And I'm like, anti-imperialism poem? The contradictions in that, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, for real.
Yeah, no, thank you for answering all those questions so honestly. Where can we find more of you and support your work?
Go to this website. It's 1202, but 12 is spelled different because we don't really fuck with 12, but it is the name of choice. So it's TWELVOTWO.com. That you'll find my music, you'll find some gospel stuff, some Follow Simple projects that we're on, and just everything you need to know about what's going good in Tucson on the south side, you know what I mean? So yeah, thank you for this question.
Yes, give it up one more time.
Yo, give it up for yourselves, though. It's a long ass